Well, I don't know about where you are, but here in Calgary it is a crisp fall day and it is the perfect day to grab a cup of tea, hot chocolate, whatever, and curl up for some good old story time. So today we are doing hashtag vintage sewing tales. So many people I know we have little treasures, little gems, little tools that are not your everyday run-of-the-mill. They're things that have been handed down to us, things that we've scored and found at garage sales or thrift stores, and there's little stories that go with these things. And to me, when I use these things or I see them or I handle them, it brings me joy. It's so much better than just using the same thing that everybody else has because there's a story behind it. So myself and some other sewing YouTubers are getting together and we are going to share our favorite old tools. Some are heirlooms, some are finds that we found ourselves. And we're gonna just share the cool stories behind them. So if you wanna see more of this, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, because then when other people share theirs with the same hashtag, YouTube will put it in front of you. Also, I will be making a playlist, but as some videos might trickle in over the next little while, I'll probably do that maybe in a week's time, and then I'll put something up on the community tab that should roll up in your feed if you're subscribed to me, and then you'll get to see more. So, let's get into it. My story is about my great-grandmother, and she was just so handy. She did all the things. She knitted, she crocheted, she tatted, she painted, she had an affinity for beautiful things and a talent for creating them. So shortly after the First World War, we're talking like 1920-ish, both of my great-grandparents, so this is my mom's dad's mom and dad, they emigrated to North America, but they didn't emigrate together. My great-grandfather and his sister and brother-in-law emigrated to northern Saskatchewan, where they started homesteading. And my great-grandmother actually wound up in Chicago, where she was a governess for another Swedish family. But even though she was from Norway and my grandfather was from Sweden, they were like literally right across the border, their towns. So like my great-grandmother knew my great-grandfather's sister Helga, and they were great friends. So when they all ended up in North America, my great-grandmother took leave of her governess job and went to visit her friend Helga in northern Saskatchewan. One thing leads to another. She marries Helga's brother, who's my great-grandfather, and she moves to northern Saskatchewan to homestead with them. Which is actually pretty incredible because her life back in Norway was quite modern. Like the house that she lived in had electricity and running water and all of the comforts of modern life. And then she moved to a homestead with no electricity and no running water and no plumbing of any sort. Like the water was hand pumped. How do you even have time when you gotta hand pump water to make anything pretty? I don't even know. So the first thing I want to share is this hand tatted lace that she made, and it's still wrapped around the piece of cardboard that's wrapped in tissue paper that she put it on, and I'm absolutely terrified to use it. There's about 1 million projects that I've thought, oh, that lace would look just amazing on this, and then I go and buy new lace and I don't use this. I think whatever I do eventually use this for, it will be something that's in a frame, because this is all there is. And just to see the work, I'm not sure if she needle tatted it or shuttle tatted it, say that 10 times fast, but the work is just so delicate and so precise and so consistent. Like, this blows my mind. And I got this when I was about, I don't know, maybe 13 or 14. There was an old knitting case. Actually, I still have that too. I use it as like a bedside table. That was my great-grandmother's, and it had a bunch of her stuff in it. And so my grandmother gave it to me, and she was like, oh yeah, there's like stuff in there. You're getting into knitting and stuff. You can have that. And this was in the bottom of that knitting case. The next thing I want to share with you is actually something that my great-grandfather made for her, and that is this crochet hook that he whittled, and I'm guessing it was out of deer antler. He had some deer antler knives too, so I'm guessing that this is what it was. But you can see there are some very big grooves where he, you know, took a file or something and really worked the bone. And he probably did hit it with some sandpaper after, but I mean, it shows that it was like utilitarian, you know, it was about just getting the thing made. And so what astounds me about this is the shine that's on it. And I think the only way that it would have gotten this shiny is just from the amount that she used it, and it was always rubbing in her hands, and just she worried this into a really kind of shiny, silky smooth crochet hook. And I just think it's the coolest. I have no idea what gauge it is. Alright, I also have, and some of these were hers, and some are like random ones that have just come to me throughout the years. I have, sometimes you'll see it up in the corner. That's usually where it is up on a little shelf there. I have a bouquet of knitting needles. Okay, it's not sewing, neither is the crochet hook, but they're special to me and I wanted to share them with you. Some of these are her old knitting needles with like a button glued to the end. And some of them are like, here's one. Like, I don't know, I'll hold it against my shirt. You can see how bent it is. I don't know if she was playing lawn darts with these or what, but they are pretty beat up. I did meet her. I mean, like, she was around when I was a baby, and I do recall one time my grandfather taking me to see her at her apartment. And by the time I got to see her then, she wasn't painting anymore. She wasn't knitting anymore, I don't think. I just remember white hair and that she couldn't really see anymore. And that is my only actual living memory of her. And it wasn't long after that she actually passed away. So having these little mementos of the work that she used to do is almost like a way of knowing her or getting to know her, I feel like. So yeah, those are my treasures. Thank you so much for sharing my story, and I hope more people post some more stories. We'll see how it goes. And I hope you enjoy their stories too. So if you have some special little thing that you use for making beautiful things, comment below. Let me know what your heirlooms or your thrift store finds are that you absolutely love that are a little uncommon or special to you. All right, we'll be back next week with another sewing tutorial. I will see you then.